From attacking JD and trying to destroy his life in the name of a certain nameless person, look at how far the Titan Time's Up has fallen. It looks like, well, what's that? Oh yeah, their time is up. Here you have their CEO resigning after a huge scandal. Just a few weeks earlier, you have Roberta Kaplan, the co-founder of this organization, also stepping down. And finally, after months and months of this information being available and no one really wanting to touch it, the corruption of Time's Up as a company is being called out. Yeah, this stuff, it is absolutely devastating. I mean, this stuff, it is a huge, huge win for JD. When you think about just a few short months ago, these were the same folks leading a charge, trying to take apart his life, like I said. Now they've all been disgraced, they've been forced out, and everything about the company they were leading, yeah, it's still being exposed. You and I, we're going to talk about that today. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And if you would, before we get started, one thing, link at the top of the description, that's for our newest project. Check out that link. It will help out the channel immensely. More of that in the end of the video. And thank you in advance for your consideration. So a few days ago, this bombshell revelation drops, talking about the CEO of Time's Up resigning. Why? Because they got caught doing the one thing that they were never supposed to do. They got caught not listening and believing. Now, all of this was set in motion by this person here, who incidentally had to step down about 3 weeks ago. This is Roberta Kaplan. Now, Roberta Kaplan is a Time's Up leader, as they note, a co-founder of Time's Up. They were also caught not listening and believing. And you and I, we're going to talk about what exactly happened in just a moment, going over all of those details. But the fascinating thing to me isn't necessarily what happened there to set them on this path, but rather the media's reaction to it. They treat this like it's the first time that this happened. They decided not to listen and believe behind the scenes, but you know what? It's been happening for quite some time. In fact, if you look at the JD case, that man says, I'm the victim here. I'm not the aggressor. I'm the aggrieved. And yet look at posts like this here. Here's Robbie Kaplan levying #Time's Up. And remember, this is a company. It's worth tens of millions of dollars. And they're saying, we at Kaplan Hecker are proud to defend a certain nameless person in this case and are gratified by the court's decision. #Time's Up. And the interesting thing about that is they weren't doing it behind the scenes, and they weren't doing it once or twice and it was easily missed. Oh no, they were doing this openly, brazenly, and to the applause of the same media saying that these folks, they needed to step down because they're going after victims. Yeah, when you think about what's said there, and again, what JD was saying, what does this say here to you? If JD could do this to that certain nameless person, imagine what happens every single day to the millions of other women out there who have been, I'm just going to use accosted, and are not famous actresses and don't have the resources to hire lawyers and defend them. But court proceedings, applying long-standing rules like the rules of evidence, have a way of shining the light on what really happened. As Justice Brandeis once said, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Now, these resignations, they were triggered by some messed up stuff behind the scenes, and it all links back to Andrew Cuomo and accusations levied against him. Now, I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything, but Time's Up, they pride themselves on quote-unquote listening and believing, quote-unquote standing with victims, and yet Roberta Kaplan, the co-founder of Time's Up, was caught meeting with Andrew Cuomo's top aides. What were they doing? They were trying to discredit people that were saying that they're victims. Now, as far as the CEO of Time's Up is concerned, they knew about this stuff too. They said they weren't going to step down because of it either until the Washington Post reported that the Time's Up CEO had texted colleagues to quote-unquote stand down around from a plan to release a statement in support of that first accuser. Why? Because again, all of these folks, they were working behind the scenes in collusion with a politician to do the very thing that their organization is not supposed to do. Now, if things were to end right there, I mean, this would be an undeniable win for JD already. I mean, you're talking about karma. You're talking about a headache for that nameless person. I mean, it would be a laugh track and vindication and then some. It doesn't end there, though. Oh, no. See, Time's Up, they are a corrupt organization. The New York Post, they broke this back in December 2020. And now, after all of this, the media is starting to report on it. So I'm going to read you this part here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what this means. So Hollywood's Time's Up organization, set to fight sexual harassment with Reese Witherspoon, Amy Schumer, Brie Larson, and other luminaries on its board, spent the bulk of its donations on executive salaries and only a fraction of legal costs to help victims, public records show. The organization, which is comprised of the Time's Up Foundation and Time's Up Now, Inc., raised $3,670,219 in 2018, its founding year, but spent $1,407,032 on salaries and only $312,001 on the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund for people, well, basically for people that are supposed to be going out and able to file lawsuits. They're supposed to take their accusers to task. Yeah, that money wasn't going there at all. So charity watchdog groups such as Charity Navigator recommend that nonprofits spend 75% of their revenue on mission, 25% on administration. Time's Up spent 38% on salaries alone. Time's Up Now, the lobbying arm of the organization, also spent $157,155 on conferences, quote-unquote, designed to build community and to spark critical conversations about gender equity. And also, the group co-sponsored a trip to a luxury resort and spa north of Los Angeles. The retreat was dominated by agents of the Creative Arts Agency. Basically, they were trying to get Hollywood luminaries to talk about this. They were lobbying. That's what that meant. In fact, when you start looking through this breakdown, what you'll find as far as lobbying is concerned, you have over $1 million going to one lobbyist group by itself. Advertising and PR alone, that eats up $400,000 versus, again, $312,000 out of that $3 million going to what this organization is supposed to be about. Robbie Kaplan in Time's Up, they were connected to other names too. Names like Jesse Smollett and, get this, Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, it's supposedly this great big shock that they're out there not supporting victims, but you saw what they did to JD. You've seen what they've done to other people, and yeah, cosmic karma now. Cosmic karma indeed. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. I cannot say that enough. That link at the top of the description, that's for our newest project, third comic book coming up soon. This stuff, it's how we stay away from sponsors. We give a product for something. We're not asking you to support anything without getting something back. So check that out and thank you. Let us know what you think about this stuff too. And again, appreciate you. Can't say that enough. Thank you. Going to end here with another thank you, and I'll see you soon.